So much happened today, my friends. I don't even know where to start. In no particular order. Thank you, my darling. I don't even know where to start. We're going to start in no particular order. And what tonight represents and what this represents is a combination of stream of consciousness and the news. I do not want to just read headlines or it just bores me. Bores me. But first, let me welcome you. I hope you had a wonderful day. It was 96 today, 97. Okay, there we go. Why are people getting so crazy about the weather? As you can imagine, of course, it is climate change. We're going to be talking about that. So much stuff. I have a series of notes. We're going to talk about Eric Adams, the jadrul who loses it, and lost it because he is being abandoned. And Muriel Bowser found out, and others as well. Biden will most certainly be stepping down. Everybody's saying it. Michelle Obama is not going to be the candidate. Where these idiots why they say this, they can't tell you why. The latest with Jimmy Fallon, they're going to pull an Etlin on him. I don't know if you care about this, but I find it fascinating because I love when there's any indication that the late night is over. We're going to talk about how Lahaina has been forgotten and the calculus of the homeless, which is incredible. And I don't know about you, where you are, but do you have in your hometown, what we have in New York, we have scooters everywhere. No tags, no license, no nothing. They're just everywhere. I don't know what they're doing. Somebody said they're delivering dope. I have no idea. They are everywhere. All of a sudden, overnight, these scooters, not Vespas, like little tiny ones. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. Overnight. There they are. It's let me tell you something. The most dangerous thing in this city, the most dangerous, is to step off a curb. You should see us step off a curb. We look like old people. I'm looking left, I'm looking right, I'm looking left because they come out of nowhere. And they also have this belief that whether it's a bike, an e-bike, a scooter, anything, they don't have to worry about red lights. Nothing. The rules don't apply. I'm not going to bore you with this stuff, but the reason why I'm saying this to you and the point of why I'm saying this is that it fascinates me how all of a sudden there are these people. They come out of nowhere. We never knew. We never saw them before. We never knew they were there. Never knew they were there. Never knew they were even there. Incredible. You understand this? Absolutely just fascinating to me. All right? Okay. Now, here's what we're going to do. I want to explain something to you, and I see if I can do this in the most, I guess, the most logical way and the most rational way, if that's at all possible. But first, before we do this, let me tell you again, always thank you for being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We need you. We want you here. We appreciate the fact that you spend so much time with us and that you are repeat customers and return customers. Couldn't do this without you. We love you for that. We also like you. We hope the fact that you are subscribing to the channel. Please subscribe. Subscriptions mean everything. Also, if you're not following me on Twitter or X, you are wasting your time. Again, please subscribe. Also, like this. You know how important it is to like this stuff. Also, go to that little notification bell to hit it. Okay? And also, if you want to see the good stuff, so you know I have the private channel at Lionel Media. And I also want to thank you for the support. You have been supporting Lionel Nation. Your generosity strikes a blow against intellectual torpor and media complicity. Every time you donate and support us, somehow an angel gets its wings, a liberty angel. And I have no idea what that means whatsoever. Now, today I was watching something which fascinates me to no end. And what was it? What was it was, as you can imagine, it was yet again this wonderful, fascinating subject of food. What am I trying to say? Food insecurity. What do you want? Glasses. Oh, glasses. Nope. They call it food insecurity. And it's a tad euphemistic. Food insecurity. And I was reading and watching people talking about farms that are being bought by China. Huge swaths of it. And then Bill. And I'm not going to go through the litany. I'm not going to be the doomsayer. I'm not going to sit there. You're smart enough. I don't have to sell you on this. You know this. When it comes to emergency food, you know it. Prepare with Lionel's a place to go. Like I said, you're smart. I don't have to convince you. It's almost insulting sometimes. Like, I don't have to convince you. You know exactly what's going on. You know exactly what's going on. So preparewithlionel.com, preparewithlionel.com. Go there and save $200 off a 3-month emergency food supply kit. That makes the most sense. This is what you need. That's simple. You understand it. You understand the notion of not having food. You understand this notion of starvation and what happens when there are shutdowns. That's all. Preparewithlionel.com. I want to talk to you about something else tonight, which is very interesting. Jimmy Fallon. Jimmy Fallon is going to go bye-bye. Now you might ask yourself, what does it matter whether Jimmy Fallon goes away or whether he's here? Does it matter? Yes. Why does it matter? It goes to show you because that particular model is done. It is finished. Finito. Do you understand what I am saying? It is done. Okay? It is done. It is over. It is through. By the way, someone mentioned it's time to get Old Testament. The historical aspects, the prescience of the Old Testament, specifically when it comes to food and the like, it's incredible. I'm so fascinated by this. We went on tonight to just get a few provisions here and there. And I'm just looking at stuff and I'm thinking to myself, when here in Manhattan, we have maybe 2 days. 2 days, right? Yes, but 2 days. Because everything's brought in by truck. Everything, 2 days. And in the event of something goes wrong, it's done. It's finished. And they don't stay open during these times until the last styrofoam cup is sold or the last coffee filter is sold. No, they shut it down when they are afraid of people freaking out, especially today. I was just thinking about that. I want to say this before we forget. I don't use the term civil war often. I never use the term civil war. And I don't think it's necessarily in the offing. It is not out of the ordinary. It is not, it is not out of the provision of possibility. But it is something that I think about. And I want to see, what will this country look like if there is enough of the order that is given where there is no order? What will it look like? What will things look like when citizens get the feel that there is no system of order, that there are no police, that there's no response, that it's every man for himself? When does that happen? Let me say this. I've been fascinated by riots, mobs, crowds, blackouts, protests, when things start to go wrong. Remember the Stonewall riots. Riots are a different kind of a story. But the idea is how the individual loses identity and becomes subsumed under the framework, if you will, of the big group, so to speak. If that makes any sense to you. It's how people become part of the big group, the large group, the unit, and how you lose individual identity and you become part of that. I find that fascinating. In any event, back to Jimmy Fallon. Jimmy Fallon to me is a very talented person who does great imitations. He can do music, but I have heard stories about Jimmy Fallon losing it out of his mind on every conceivable form of, intoxicant and drunk and crazy and this for years. But somehow it was kind of looked the other way. Nobody really said anything. Now all of a sudden there's some Rolling Stone article or whatever. Now they're doubling down on him. And they're going to do to him what they did to Ellen. They're going to get rid of him. And the MO follows perfectly. I mean, remember Ellen? Ellen was miserable. Ellen was always miserable. Yeah, but she's really miserable now. No, they're shutting down this. They must have a reason, either because they want to show particular different information on their books. Maybe it's better for them. Maybe it seems like it's better if they appear somehow to be, I don't know, doing this voluntarily. But listen to what I am saying. This is over. I was watching today, I happened to watch a very interesting interview. I think the most talent, my favorite raconteur today, my favorite talent, comedian, whatever, is Kevin Pollak. I think he's the best. And any show he's on, he makes it. And he was on a show called Red Ginger or something Ginger. It was a comedian with red hair. And he was superb. And they were talking. And whether it's Joe Rogan or Theo Von or whoever it is, whether you like it, doesn't matter. This is the new show. There's a guy I like a lot. His name is Brett Ernst. I think Brett Ernst, I heard him years ago. I think he is has the best message about, I don't want to say conservative, but his grandfather and when men were men. And he's really, really good. Anyway, as I'm watching this, I realize, you know what? This is the most interesting thing, which is so fascinating. This is the most fascinating thing in the world as to what I see this going on. I find this new level of everything fascinating. I find it terrific. I've never seen what do I say? Politics. Marshmaz says, is that a mini Trump behind? Yes, that's one of my favorite little statues. That's a little what am I saying? That's a little bug out, not bug out, bobblehead. What am I trying to say? Yes, a bobblehead. It's a little bobblehead that I've had. I've got more Trump, just memorabilia. I've never seen anything like it. Collecting it. This is one of my favorites. I've got this. I've got, oh my God, I got stuff from, this is when we went to, I got all my stuff, got my 2020. That was a good one. I've got this where I got all my pens and stuff in here. I've got, oh my God, I got a Trump. I got a mannequin. I got action figures. I got everything. Because when we would go to Washington, there was always this incredible, there was this wonderful thing, the White House gift shop, and it was packed. And I bought every Trump thing because It was just fun. I mean, everybody did it. We've got more to, can you imagine buying a Biden stuff? No. Obama? No. And I asked the owner, we became friends. I said, have you ever seen anything like it? He says, nothing like this ever. Ever. Nothing. Never. You do understand that you're going to be talking about Trump for the rest of your life. You do understand that, right? And there are so many things that he did that were incredibly stupid and incredibly brilliant, but there is not a president that anybody wants to wait 24 hours or longer for to see. Do I have any other? Oh, here we go. I got a duck. I got the little Trump duck. See that little duck? I got that. I got more. I'll show you my collections. I got. Oh, here we go. President Trump troll. Can you see this? Let me try to. There we go. Trump for president troll. Hair to the chief. I got that. Oh my God. I think I got two Trumps. I got one over here. Look at this. I got the royal bobblehead. Got the Trump bobblehead. I mean, this stuff is going to be for no other reason, just the collectibles. I've got more hats. Oh, I got one of these. Trump's, it's a coaster from 2020. I mean, there's stuff just lying around. More crap than you can imagine. And yet, I'll be the first one to say, it's got a lot of problems. But in terms of a rock star, yes. I'm going to remember this. I still don't think people understand what this is. He's a rock star. He's hated. He's a genius. He's a lunatic. He's everything. You don't understand. I love it. He made politics so exciting. But he's a lunatic. But he's great. But he's not. But he is. But he's not. He does things I don't understand. But that's beside the point. I'm going to put my stuff one day. It's going to be a collectible. I'm going to be on C-SPAN one day with Richard Norton Smith talking about the 2016 election, the 2020, and what Trump is. You do know there's TDS goes both ways, right? Trump derangement syndrome is for people who hate Trump and people who love Trump. People who call him a genius, a stable genius, this. I said, well, 4D jet. Well, but yet he does other things that. What if I told you that there's a person charged 4 indictments, and every time he has an indictment, his numbers go up? Does that make any sense to you? Would you say that? Would you believe that if somebody told you that? No. How does that work? Why do his numbers go up? Why? Black folks love him. Not all, more than you would think. You realize we do not talk? What's the matter? There's a shortage on laxatives. Honey, prepare with Lionel. Save $200 of a 3-month emergency food kit. A shortage on laxatives. There's going to be a shortage on everything. You think I'm kidding. I know what you're thinking. You're saying, is he talking about the food thing again? Is he talking about that again? Why is he talking about... What if I said there's going to be a gas shortage? Hey, see, people do not understand. Let me explain. Let me change the subject a little bit. Hey, Jerry, what is it? You should stop smoking. Why? You'll get cancer. I'm not going to get cancer. That's what people say. I'm not going to get cancer. How do you know? Other people get cancer. I don't get cancer. That's what people think. They don't say it. You know what I'm saying? Jerry, you can get COPD. I'm not going to get that. Other people get that. I don't get that. Plus, I'll stop in time. Don't worry. This doesn't happen to me. You got the wrong guy here. People think this. Hey, listen, I think maybe you're drinking too much. I don't drink too much. I drink fine. I'm not an alcoholic. I'm not going to become one. No, other people, not me. No, not the kid. No, no, no. We always think that. You putting on weight? I'll lose weight. That I'm not fat. I'm fine. People always think that. Do you ever think we could ever go through a food shortage? No, not here, not the United States. No, 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 no. For a month? Never, never. Foods, they'll open. No, no. Don't worry about that. It ain't gonna happen. Really? Not gonna happen. Do you know how much? Do you know how much grain and stuff China is hoarding? Don't tell me about China. We're always gonna have this stuff. You don't understand. We've been through the Depression. Nobody starved, as far as I know. The Depression, World War II, Vietnam. We're not gonna starve. Okay, that's what people think. You know who doesn't think this? The maniac, E.D. Crowley. George Orwell said in 1945, a complex weapon makes the strong stronger, while a simple weapon, so long as there is no answer to it, gives claws to the weak. Ooh, let's say this again. A complex weapon makes the strong stronger, while a simple weapon, so long as there is no answer to it, gives claws to the weak. I love that. Thank you. Thank you, Edie. That is beautiful. May I tell you my favorite one? This is one of my favorite expressions. First of all, the expression that I say every single day, one way or another, is history would be a wonderful thing if only it were true. Absolutely, positively, I live by it. What you think happens did not happen. I have seen this in terms of family law. Every lawyer knows never go into family law. Never, never. It's the worst thing in the world because what they tell you is not the truth. They're telling you, it's like a Rashomon movie, kind of, sort of, but from their point of view. But history is I've got friends of mine who say we would have won the Vietnam War if they let us win. Now, I don't know how to tell somebody that. What does that mean? He doesn't want to think that he went to a war and that his friends died, and I don't blame him, for nothing. So he will say, and this is important, he will say repeatedly something to the effect of, and I think this is very interesting, he will say, hang on 1 second. Let me see here. There we go. He will say, we would have won the war had they let us win. Okay, so that's history. That's history. Okay. What I love is McLuhan said, big lies are very difficult to keep secret. Big lies, big secrets, big terrible things are very difficult to keep under wraps. Okay? Let me rephrase that. Did I say big? It's little. Little lies are very hard to keep under wraps. But big lies are easy because of our incredulity. When something doesn't make sense to you, if somebody said to you, this guy in this country during this time is systematically taking these people, putting them on trains, sending them over here, killing them, gassing them, and exterminating them by the hundreds of thousands, you would say, I can't. No. Okay. That's just, that can't happen. Little lies are very hard to keep quiet. Big lies, big, terrible things are very easy rather to keep quiet because people do not know this. Civil war. No. I can't get my head around that. Food shortages. No. Sex trafficking. No. We were talking recently. Mrs. L was talking to some folks in the trafficking business, so to speak. Not the trafficking business, but the anti-trafficking business. And she said something which is incredible. The latest law enforcement said that in terms of videos and pictures and people and children and the targeted age is 0 to 2. You could have heard in this room, we're in a presentation, and she's not making this up. Jaws dropped. You know what they said? No. 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 Why? The incredulity. I can't believe this. I can't get my head around it. So that's very, very easy to keep quiet, to keep down, because people can't understand that. You do not want to believe anything that gets in the way with your worldview. Here's the one. This is far easier to understand. It's an absolute fact. An absolute fact. Olive oil is 100% fat. It is not good for you. Now that's the sentence. It's 100% fat. It is not good for you. Olives are great. Olive oil is a different story. Walnuts, a couple of walnuts, very good. Gregor talks about this. Very good. Things that are some really good stuff for you. But anytime you process something, anytime you make it, you grind, to get a teaspoon of oil, I don't know how many you need, but you take all of the fiber, everything, and it's 100% fat. And it's not good for you. It might be better for some of you than something else. It might be better than this. It might not be extrovert. People are saying, no, I don't want to hear this. No, I don't like this. No, absolutely not. That's what we do. I don't want to hear about kids 0 to 2. I don't want to hear about Trump this. I don't want to hear about anybody losing. I don't want to hear this. Don't tell me these things. Oh, and by the way, the one that will freak you out, I mean, just let Michael Greger, and what he does, he shows you the study. He just doesn't say these things. Like, hi, I'm Dan Yablakowski, and I'm a fitness expert, and seed oils are... No, he shows you, this is the report, this is the citation, this is the peer-reviewed medical, read this. I'm not just saying this. Okay. I'm going to say this and get off the subject. Eggs. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. And you know what people say? I have an egg every day. Now, the reason that I'm saying this is not, I don't want to get into an argument about egg. You do whatever you want. It's a free country. They call it the tomato effect. Years ago, they thought the tomato was poison. And I think it was a courthouse in New Jersey, or somebody ate a tomato. They thought it was poison. They thought this tomato was poison. They wouldn't touch it. You see, you don't want to hear what you don't want to hear. You don't want to hear things you don't want to hear. You don't. I don't care who you are. You don't want to hear this. I've got friends of mine, one in particular. Oh, I says, okay, let me tell you something. Would you like me to tell you and show you peer-reviewed study? Peer-reviewed, not just, and not Fauci and Walensky, but peer-reviewed, honest to God, legit stuff on the benefits or the efficacy of the COVID vaccine? Absolutely not. He will not listen to it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want. No. I'm not talking about. I'm talking about no. I can't. I don't want to hear this. La 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 la. No, you don't understand this. And he's not it's not an anti-vaxxer. He is in the moment. It's a religion for him. I talked to a friend of mine the other day. I think I told you this. And he's like us, physician. And he says, listen, he says, I think things should be tested. I think blah, 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 blah. When you shut down the world, all these things. He goes, well, let me tell you something. He said, when COVID first came out, He was in a hospital here in New York, and there was a code they were giving out for whenever there was when somebody died. He goes, and that thing it was, and they couldn't do code blue, code red. No, they didn't do that. They would say something like, Yankees win. And that's all he couldn't. He said he's never seen anything like it. Now, you're going to say comorbidities? Yes. Any elderly people? Yes. People with asthma? Yes. People with diabetes? Yes. Younger people? Probably not. Whatever. The point is you go, see? Why? Because in their mindset, in their mind, they had this idea. They believed it. That there is a world, there is that this is a lie. It doesn't exist. It never existed. It was exaggerated. It was Bill Gates. It was some tyranny, and it was to shut down the world. And here's what they can't do. They can't say yes, but they can't do this. They can't say, well, it was a reaction, but an overreaction. And it should have been tested, but it wasn't. And it was, and they can't do it. They can't do it. HPV, human papillomavirus, condyloma acuminata, right? It's real. It's serious. But what about the vaccine? I don't know. What about infants? I don't know if they're going to get this. You see what I'm saying? You're not, it's not one or the other. Every time you say, well, is there an HPV? Oh, yes. But is it in children? No. Does a vaccine work? Oh, yes. Is it necessary? Not in children. So you're always going like this. And people can't do that. They can't do it. They can't handle it. Why? Because of the fact that history would be a wonderful thing if only it were true. And reality, they become part of a mindset. And with that mindset is people who are religious, people of faith, people who are atheists, people I know who are saying, I have committed myself to atheism. And I'm not going to hear anybody tell me anything about how their existence of God. Right now, do you know the number of people? There were 3, Galertner. Oh my God. It was on with Peter Robinson. There are people who were saying 3 very, very brilliant. Galertner was this computer scientist who had who had his hand basically mangled by one of the Unabomber's bombs. And they are saying that Darwinian mechanics works great for little things. Little things like on this island, the turtle has a shell like this. On this island, the turtle has a curved part of the shell so it can raise its head because the verdure and the plants are higher. That's great. Darwin is terrific explaining little things like that. Wonderful. But all of a sudden, was it Precambrian? There's this boom, this explosion of life. And they're saying, that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. That's a different story. That doesn't make any sense. What does that mean? It's God. It's intelligent design. What? You're crazy. I'm crazy? What's his name? Berenstein? I'll give you this whole Peter Robinson. It was one of the yes. Abandoning Darwinism. Galertner talks with Meyer Berlinski. Yes. Galertner talks with Meyer and Berlinski. Yes. And it is mind-blowing. Now listen to me carefully. Follow me on this one. This is important. Are you willing at any time to abandon something that you have held steadfast in your mind? Are you willing to change your mind at any moment? I am and have been irreligious almost my entire life. I'm not an atheist. I just don't understand it. It never grabbed me. It's like if somebody were trying to fix me up, single, but fix me up with their cousin. Say, I don't like her. I understand you like her. I don't like her. I don't get her. But she's nice. She's been married before. I don't care how many people like her. I don't dig her. I don't get it. It's kind of like that. I don't get it. Nothing against your, your cousin or whatever, but maybe that's a bad example. But not really. The moment I see the light, the moment I say, oh, I change. Just like that. John Maynard Keynes said, when the facts change, you change your opinion. I changed completely regarding my thought. I used to always say, legalize prostitution. But I didn't understand. Legalize it for what? So for the prostitute. What about the pimp? I never. Well, I guess. Yeah, I didn't think about him. So now I'm into partial decriminalization. I'm rethinking the notion of legalization of drugs, sort of, but not really. I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm not sure. We had people, they're gone now, but they were outside and one day, and as soon as one showed up, 20 showed up. Where'd they come from? They're not from New York. They had needles in their neck. You think I'm exaggerating? They had them in their neck. They have pictures of them all over the place. Is it best to legalize drugs? Yeah, it didn't matter to this person whether drugs were legal or not. It didn't make any difference whatsoever. So legalization had nothing. Well, do you think this should be legal? It doesn't matter. You want to go arrest him? Go ahead. Nobody's arresting some junkie because he's in possession of what I don't think throwing him in a drunk tank and letting him be awful to go through withdrawals. But I don't know. It was a different issue. But I've always said drugs should not be criminalized. Doesn't make any sense to me. Everybody's always said that. But the moment the facts don't work anymore, I change my mind. And I want you to do this. I want you to promise me. I want you to keep your mind, your eyes open. If you like Trump, great. The moment if you want to change your mind, say, you know what? Because the thing changes. Sometimes changes. Things change. If you're in an exercise program, sometimes you got to mix up an exercise. This isn't working anymore. This incline bench was great at first, but not anymore. Something's wrong. I need to change. Remember fartlek? Remember that? People were running and racing. Change your mind. Open your mind. Change. Don't always ask yourself, what do I believe? Don't ever listen to anybody else. Don't ever say, well, as a conservative. I heard a conversation today. I wanted to scream. This guy must have said the word conservative 100 times. I go, what are you talking about? Ask me one question, any question you want about any issue. I'll tell you what I think. Not because I'm a conservative or a liberal or a libertarian, but because of the facts of the case. Today in New York City, they had these kids were just swarming, showing up into schools, swarming. And their teachers says, what the hell is this? Who are they? Come on in. And they're asking teachers for them to have toiletries and what else, honey? Toiletries and school supplies, personal toiletries. Wait a minute, they're getting $10,000 a piece and $40,000 a month. What the hell's going on here? And the teachers are saying, wait a minute, hold it. Because why do you think they want to do this? Why do you think they want to do it? Now sit back and analyze this. Don't come up with a good sounding thing. Don't talk about, well, it's a Hegelian dialogue. No, stop it. Answer the question. What's going on here? How do you fix this? How do you fix this issue? As a conservative, no. How do you fix it? You got a person here, he's bleeding. As a conservative, how would you, excuse me, he's bleeding. Give me a belt or something. You got to make a tourniquet. That's what you do. What would a liberal do? He'd use a tourniquet. What are you talking about? That's the wrong analysis. The analysis is, how do we correct this? What do we do? What do we do to fix it? Then later on, we'll say, well, why do you think so? Who do you think's doing this? You see, the detective comes in. You want to say who's doing this, then you bring it in for the serial killer. Who's doing this? Then you bring in the detective. Then you ask the question, who's doing this? Then it gets interesting. It gets really interesting. Now, right now, it's all over the country. And that's why somebody seems to be leaving their mark. You know, when you look at the serial killer, and sometimes they'll leave a mark. Did they dress this? Did they pose the victim? Did they take things? There is all kinds of, was this a sign of force? Was there post-mortem? Blah, 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 blah. And you learn from there why they did this. Maybe what were they after? The MO of the victim years ago during the Son of Sam thing. People thought that he was going after a long-haired girl, whatever it was. That's when it matters. That's the why part, because that will maybe help you catch the person. But once you catch him, you don't care anymore about the why. You want to stop him. And the only reason I care about why they're doing this is to maybe understand a little bit about, well, what's the reason for this? Because what a lot of people do is they'll ask the question of why they're doing it, but they won't fix it. So right now, and when you hear me going crazy, I'm sorry, when you hear me going crazy about food, it's because I see them doing this. Wouldn't you love to see them go crazy? If you wanted to see a country, what would you do? How would you? I would love this. This sounds terrible. This is terrible because of the intellectual exercise, not in view of how horrible it will be, but somebody brings me in, my government, my whoever, and say, we want to get these people. Who is it? It's France. France? Yeah. Why do you want to get France? We want to get France. You don't want to kill them? Oh, we don't want to kill them. We want you to destroy them internally. What would you do? Think about it. Let's just pick France. I don't know why. Just pick France. What would you do? What would I do? What would you do? How would you destroy France? What would you do? First question, who is France? Are the people who are there? How do they identify themselves? Do they say they're French, or do they say they're African French? Like we say African Americans, do they say French? What are they the proudest of? What are they the most embarrassed of? Tell me about their idiosyncrasies. What do they eat? What do they love to do? What's their day of the week? Is it Sunday? Is it Saturday? Is it nights? Is it siestas? Is it like other countries? What do they do? What do they like? What's their thing? Is it wine? Is it pastries? Is it bread? What's the thing that drives that? What do they? Okay, good. Oh, you said they like bread? Good. Wheat. I'm going to go after wheat. I want to freak them out. I want to take something that will let me just see. I want to cause a hiccup. I want something in their day-to-day life, their identity. You saw it here, what we did in this country to prohibition. Oh my God. Or wine. Then what else? Are they a religious country? Not particularly. If it was South American, then we go after their religion. South American countries, 100% Catholic. Brazil, 100% Catholic. Oh, good. So they're going to listen to things like, they're a little more superstitious. They'd be more into things like satanic reference. Okay, good. I got it. Okay, good. Okay. Next, we're going to go after their families. We want to do something which affects their family. Are they a tight? Oh, yeah, very tight-knit family. What else do they have? Well, the elderly lived. Oh, the elderly. Okay, good. Got it. So I want to take the way they are, and I want to target the things that mean something to them, and I want to destroy them internally. I want to destroy them. How do they do in crowds? Oh, they're great in crowds. Really? Oh, yeah. Okay, because we're not in real. We're not in real. By the way, Edward says raise a retirement age. That's okay, but I'm not talking about policy. That's government. It's not what I want to do. I want to cancel certain TV shows, introduce certain TV shows. I want to bring in people who are they homophobic or are they? I want to change. I want to use, and of course, use social media to move in. I want to create artificially using synthetic media. What is synthetic media? AI produced. I want to create swaths, swarms, passels of individuals creating some particular idea, some thought, some vector, some meme. Don't forget, meme is a Dawkins word from memetics. It's the taking information that is like quanta and passing it on almost like you would have things like I don't know, like you would have chromosomes pass on. I would go after what is it? What can we do? Now, are they funny about they're terrible about their accents. Not their accents, but their language. They're really paternalistic about that. Good. Let's start destroying and let us start to pass using social media, which is my truncheoning tool. That's my petard. The petard is the breaching tool you put against the door and burst the door in. That's what I'm going to use. I'm going to use that. I'm going to say that French are snooty, and it's about time that we take on more slang. I'm going to artificially create a meme that doesn't even exist. Drive them crazy. I'm going to, and people will do this. How do I know this? I know this because I've done experiments because people have tattoos. People are still walking around with tattoos and terrible things they've done to their body in order to look like they fit in. Have you ever met these people? Have you ever seen this group? Let me tell you this. I'm going to say this to you, and you tell me if you've seen this. Just tell me right now. Just tell me right now. By the number one, let me give you an example. American vet, maybe SEAL, covered in tats, Fred Ziffel beard, hyper loaded with tats, hyper for lack of a better word, hyper masculine warrior beard. Have you seen this before? And this show will have this guy, and this show has this guy, and it's about this warrior. Not patriotic per se, but 100% military. And God bless these people. You've seen these people before. And you've seen them. You'll also see them in the country music. Part of this new, David Allan Coe kind of did it, but this, again, Fred Ziffel look, a lot of tats, singing dark songs about whatever. Weird Matter writes, a beard equals testosterone. We are absolutely in love with the notion of testosterone. All of a sudden, and this is so interesting, Tucker Carlson is concerned about testosterone. I asked a friend of mine, same doctor. I said, do you see loads of people, regular practice, internal medicine, young, old, whatever it is. I said, do you ever recommend or prescribe testosterone T? He says, no. Do you see low? He says, what does it mean? Lower functioning range? No. This idea that we have lower range. How low can you get? Is it on air? Well, it's lower, but is it still functioning? Oh yeah, they're functioning, but it's lower or it's higher. And people never ask, they never ask the question, but do they have, yeah, they're functioning. By the way, men and women have testosterone. And by the way, testosterone is not just for sex, it's in beards and all that stuff. But there's this thing. And people like Tucker will all of a sudden start to say, and you know what? We have to do it because men are not men. Oh, I would go back to my French. How are they in France about the male part? Yeah, good, do that. I want to start, get the synthetic media folks, start talking about low testosterone in men because of the cheese, or just make something up. All of a sudden, over now, are women talking about estrogen? No. Progesterone? No. Are women talking about anything like that? No. Are women even concerned about acting like a woman? Do you see this anywhere? Maybe you do. Maybe I'm not scouring the right thing. Do you see this version of you normally see? Please forgive me. The garden variety slut, tramp, skank, skis. You know what I mean? This is the woman who most probably at an early age was either sexually abused or was abandoned by her father and has to go out of her way seeking male adulation. Listen, when you see women basically walk around with everything hanging out, they're either hooker, sex worker, abused, or really trying to connect with men because daddy left them or did something. I'm sorry. You can say I'm overgeneralizing. I'm absolutely right. Absolutely right. It's so obvious. But that's more of like, appearance. Do you hear anybody on social media saying women have to be more women? No. Women have to go out there and we got the breasts and this, and we got to go out and because we don't have enough estrogen and we got to be more women. No. Men are doing that. Many of the same men who want to be women. Where are the women who want to be men? Have you seen this? Okay, let's go through it. Chaz, Paul Minjer, Chaz Bono. There was that the one actor or actress, whatever, and who else? Can you think of any famous? Loads of men wanting to be women, right? This one wants to be Leah Thomas, wants to join women's sports, want to be a woman. Okay, trans women. Where are the men? I don't know. Where are women who want to be men? I don't know. Where are women who want to play sports against LeBron James in the NBA? Well, you can't do that. Why not? Well, they're no good. What? They're no good. That's going to change too. Listen to what I'm saying and listen good. There is going to be a woman who wants to be a man or claims to be a man, a trans man, I guess. And they're going to say, you are elitist. The NBA is elitist. It is heteronormative. And they'll come up with some term you've never heard of. It is androcentric. It is polynomial. And they will actually come up with a system where the trans man has a handicap system. He gets 2 baskets for one. They will do something to destroy the game of basketball. You think I'm kidding? The moment that BlackRock, Fink or Black, whatever his name is, he says this, the reason, as soon as BlackRock or Vanguard, whoever the hell these people are, they say, that's what we're going to do. We're going to destroy that. Now, not football. Why not football? That's betting. Football is the best score. You don't bet on baseball. You don't bet on basketball. That's no good. 98, 90. I mean, you can play that. But football, over under, first field goal, for extra point. You can bet. That will never, ever. Because the betting, it would through. Who is this? We got the female player. The female player, they're going to handicap her what? 5 point? What? It doesn't work. Mark my words. This is where we're going. And you know why? Because there's very sick people sitting back and laughing themselves silly. And we just put up with this stuff. Now, sit back for a moment. get it out of the way, and realize it doesn't matter. Look at this. I just wrote here. I just looking at on the side of my thing. It says, President Duck, make America quack again. Can you believe this? President Duck, made in I don't know. $12.95 I pay for this thing. But it's going to pay off one day. They're going to say, how do you do this? I don't know. Please keep an open mind. Please see what's happening. Please see what's happening. Look at things and don't be committed to something because your friends would say, I can't believe you're actually saying that. I can't believe you're saying that. If you find Trump ideologically disgusting tomorrow, change your mind. If you find Biden disgusting and want to join, do whatever you want to be. Be free, express yourself. Do not give yourself a label. If you like the sound of I like this stupid song by Taylor Swift. What's that one? Big it up, shake it up, shake it off. And don't forget, if you shake it more than twice, you're playing with it. Remember that, guys? Remember that joke when you were a kid? Did you ever hear that? If I go, what? What was that? Your father, your grandfather, your uncle told you that? If you shake it more than twice, you're playing with it. What the hell are you talking? Playing with it. Anyway, then later on you got it. Shake It Off, Taylor Swift. I like that song. Now, why? I don't know. I like the song. Is it rock? I don't know. Yeah, but you don't like Taylor Swift. I don't care. I like that song. I don't have to explain it to you. Yeah, but it doesn't have a name. I don't know. What does this mean? Don't you like certain foods? Don't just say, I love this. I don't like that. Why? I don't know. Friend of mine, I bought a bunch of trumpet mushrooms tonight. Those are great. You ever have those? Oh my God. For those of you who don't like mushrooms, try this. This is like meat. It's like big, long, anyway. But people who hate mushrooms, you know why? They hate mushrooms. This is very, very simple stuff. I want you to believe what you believe. I want you to feel whatever it is. I want you to be yourself and just accept it, and don't let anybody tell you anything different. Period. Now, one more thing. This is and I've got to tell you this, and I am very, very honest about this, and I've told you this. I have always loved Mike Lindell, how they treated him like garbage. By the way, it's good to see where Trump's giving Rudy a party, fundraiser at Bedminster to raise money for his legal. So at least he's trying something. It's about time. Anyway, Mike Lindell, as soon as they say, you know what, I like this guy because he's daring to say what he wants to do, and that's it. I love it. So he came up with My Pillow, and he was great. He was happy. It was wonderful. My Pillow. Hi, it's Mike Lindell. And he always with a blue shirt, and they liked him, and he had a mustache. And this is great. And people were happy. I like these pillows. I like this. I like this. I like Mike Lindell. I like him. Then all of a sudden, boom. Somebody from on high said, you're not going to like him anymore. Why? Because he's a Trumpy or a Trump, a quack. He's one of these things or whatever you want to call him. And he said, you know what? Screw you. I'm going to do it. And the sales went through the roof because they told him you can't do that. What do you mean you can't do that? You can't do that. I beg your pardon. It's who I am. As soon as you tell somebody you can't do that, I go nuts. I can't. I was watching somebody anyway. MyPillow.com, promo code Lionel, or MyPillow.com/Lionel. Do it. Just follow it. It's very interesting. or call 800-645-4965. Watch how fast Mike answers the phone. Okay? Okay. I was watching something the other day, and lo and behold, I came upon something which I find fascinating. And you know what it was? It was, of all things, Mongolian throat singing. I want to bring Mongolian throat singing to this country. I want Mongolian throat singing. Have you ever heard it? I love that. Not for too long, but have you heard that? Who thought of that? Did you have a couple of Mongolians or Mongoloids, whatever they're called, sitting around one day and saying, "Hey Jerry, do that again"? What? That thing you did after a few drinks. That's cool. Can you do that? I'm sure somebody came up with this. So anyway, I want to make Mongolian throat singing, and I want to have clubs all over the place where it's the hottest thing. It's like karaoke night for Mongolia, and they can do, Staying Alive, Bee Gees. Why? Because I want to. Because I think it's funny. And damn thing you can do to stop me. That's what I like. I promise you, if you knew me in high school, I would be the one listening to Mongolian throat because nobody else was doing it. Because I would think that would be so cool, as you would say, to enjoy Mongolian throat chanting or whatever it is. And you know who's like that? Trump. Mongolian throat chanting. This guy. This. Because when I talked about him, people would go crazy. And I said, I'm in heaven. Oh, you don't want me to talk about him? Thank you. Oh, you're not talking to me anymore? I can't count the friends. I can't count the friends I lost. I love it. So yes, he made some very, very good points. But I'm telling you right now, I would be less than genuine if I told you that I love the fact, like Mike Lindell and you, let's face it, you're a freak. You're a freak and nobody likes you. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. If you're here, chances are something's very, very wrong with you. And that's why I love you. Come on in. We're all freaks. Come on in. I love this. We're crazy. We don't fit in anywhere. We're mutants. I sound like Bill Murray and some I forget where you heard that from, but anyway, maybe Stripes or something. But it's true. It's honest to God. I don't fit in. I don't want to fit in. I've never fit into my age group. And my friends now, who are 65, they're the most boring people I've ever met in my life. Well, I think I'm going to be, oh, God, you're going to do some woodworking, Ed? I guess so. Well, what should I do? Why don't you go back to school and college, get a degree? I know a friend of mine who went back. I think he moved to University of Gainesville, went to University of Florida, and now he's getting a degree and 70 years old because he loves school. I think that's the greatest thing. Anyway, enough about that. Who's a freak? Are you a freak? Are you a freak? Are you a freak? Yes or no? Are you a freak? Does your family look at you and say, "Oh my God"? Do you? Have you been a freak your whole life? Have you been the outsider? Have you been the one who said, I don't. I like stuff that maybe, I don't know, they don't listen to me or maybe whatever. Have you? Say it. Say it. That's all. Just admit who you are. That's it. Johnny's one. Johnny's out of his mind. We got people here talking about transplanting fig trees. I don't know what the hell's going on here. They're talking about fruit. That's fine. You know what? You're a freak. Talk about fruit. I don't care. It's up to you. Liz Solak says pretty much, Liz, you're a freak. You know it and I know it. And that's why you're beautiful, because we're all freaks. We just don't care. We're going to do whatever we want. And if this one, and the moment that if Trump doesn't work, change your mind. But by the way, one thing, remember, you're always welcome here, no matter what. There's nothing you can say, think, vote for, whatever. It doesn't matter. You're always welcome here. Period. That's it. All right, dear friends, have a great and a glorious day. Thank you so much for your kindness and your Edie Crowley. Thank you. You're very nice, Edie. Edie supported. Edie said she loves me tonight. Edie. Nobody else did. But that's okay. You know why? Because I'm a freak. And freaks, we get used to it. We're abandoned. We're neglected. It's the way it goes. All right, my friends, you have a great and glorious night. We'll be back tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel, 8 a.m. Until then, it's your new best friend, Lionel, reminding you that the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue you.